Welcome into another episode of Tailgate Talk SEC. I am Will Thomas, and today we have episode 2 of our schedule breakdown and full season predictions going through each SEC team. Today we've got the Arkansas Razorbacks. So yesterday we did Alabama. I've got them going 10-2 and making the playoff. And for Arkansas this season, right, so they hired Ryan Silverfield coming up from Memphis, and they were kind of victim of this chain sort of going up, a domino effect, because when Lane Kiffin went to LSU, they had Florida move to Summerall, they had Auburn move to Golish, who we kind of all thought might be taking the Arkansas job, and now they have Ryan Silverfield. So even though it's kind of being viewed as maybe the weakest hire in the conference, I'm not sure that's necessarily true, right? Because we saw how many games that Silverfield was able to win at Memphis. We know how much talent he brought in. I mean, he got A.J. Hill to commit to Memphis, who he now brought with him to Arkansas. So we can't really be sleeping on Silverfield as, like this total settle of a hire who's not going to pan out. I'm not the highest on them this season. I do believe that they more than double their win total, but we can't look at Silverfield like this throwaway hire who's going to be irrelevant, because I don't believe that Arkansas is going to be relevant at all this season. I've got them winning a few games this fall that many people don't think that they're going to. So let's just dive into it. In week 1, they host North Alabama. Not worried about that one. Think that the Silverfield era gets off to a pretty good start, 1-0 against UNA. Then week 2, a really interesting game. They go on the road to Utah. So this one I have as a loss, just because because of the travel, how quality of an out-of-conference opponent Utah is going to be. It just seems to me that this is a lot to ask for Arkansas to go out there and win this game this early in the season. Now, the other side of that, if they go out there and they win this game, that is a massive launching point for not only this season, but for Silverfield's entire tenure. I mean, this would be a statement of a win for Arkansas to go get this W out in Salt Lake City. I would just be very surprised if they do. So for right now, I'm going to keep it as a loss, but I'll be cheering for Arkansas in this game because this would be such a good launching point for this season for the Razorbacks. But for right now, I'll have them as a loss. And then week 3, they come back home. They host Georgia. I've got another loss here as well. I think they're going to be a little bit outmatched by the Bulldogs. Georgia will walk in there and get that win. So they'll be 1-2 through 3 games. But then week 4, they get to host Tulsa. So a non-power opponent there. I've got them taking down Tulsa to get to 2-2. Excuse me. In week 5, they go back on the road to Texas A&M. I've got this one as a loss. It's a road trip into a big-time environment. This game, I wouldn't be surprised if they hang with them. I mean, if you remember last season when A&M came to Fayetteville, Arkansas was going punch for punch with them. That was one of the highest-scoring games in the conference that year. I do believe that A&M offensively is probably raises their floor a little bit this year, and defensively they should be a little more shored up. So I don't know if they can really go punch for punch like they did last season, at least for all 60 minutes. But I would hope that Arkansas was able to keep this one relatively close for a while. Will probably lose their grip a little bit towards the end. And in week 6 here, this is where it gets fun. They host Tennessee. I've got a win here for Arkansas to beat the Vols at home. Now, here's why. This is a look-ahead spot for Tennessee because the Vols host Bama the week after this game. Right, so even though with this many conference games and the depth of talent being spread out among the conference, look-ahead spots will still happen, especially when it's a first-year coach against an Arkansas team who, at least in my prediction, is 2-3 without a conference win at this point. I think this is going to be a look-ahead spot for Tennessee and for Silverfield. Like I just said, this is a chance for him to get his first conference win as Arkansas's head coach. You're going to be at home. It will be a good environment with the Vols coming to town. I'll take the spot. This is a spot play for me. I think that Arkansas will be able to upset the Tennessee Volunteers at home in week 6, getting their first conference win and improving to 3-3 on the year. And in week 7, they travel to Vanderbilt. So they go to Nashville, play another Tennessee team back-to-back weeks. I have this one being a loss just because I'm not sure that at this point in the season, Arkansas will really be a team that can go back-to-back big-time wins, especially with one of them, the second one, being on the road. So for that reason, I'll say that they beat Tennessee at home, lose to Vandy on the road, and they head into their bye week at 3-4. Now, that's not the worst thing in the world, but obviously not the best, right? Because looking at, some of these other games, like that Utah game, in theory, is probably winnable. They also have a first-year coach, do the Utes out there. But like Georgia and A&M, those ones are harder. The Vandy game could be winnable also because if it is Jared Curtis starting, we'll be at week 7 here, but that is still a true freshman quarterback. So there are some winnable games here. I mean, look, they could be 5-2 at this point if all the things go well. Utah's winnable. Vandy's probably winnable. If they go 5-2 going into their bye week, it's not impossible. It's very unlikely, but that is a possible scenario. But for right now, I'll say that Arkansas at 3-4 headed into their bye week. And then they come out of that bye and they host Missouri. This game, I really thought about going win for Arkansas, but I think that Missouri's firepower is just going to be too much for Arkansas. And Arkansas coming off a bye, but so is Missouri in this spot, so there's no bye week advantage. So I'll go Missouri to beat Arkansas in Fayetteville. But then week 10 and 11 here, I've got back-to-back wins for Arkansas. In week 10, they go to Auburn. Now, the reasons why I think this is a win for Arkansas is because Auburn's 3 games leading up to this are at Georgia, LSU, and at Ole Miss. They are going to be beat up. They're going to be tired. They're going to have some injuries. They're going to be exhausted after that stretch. And Arkansas is coming off of Missouri at home. And now Missouri, their offense is going to be really good. They're not a physically imposing, wear you down, hurt you team like the 3 that Auburn is playing before that is. So I think you're going to have a pretty, energized, healthy Arkansas team against a pretty bruised, battered Auburn team. So I think that Arkansas can go on the road to the Plains and take down Auburn. And then in week 11, they get South Carolina at home. I've got another win here for their first back-to-back wins of the season against a Carolina team that has those pieces that I'm really excited about, in Sellers, Harbor, Dylan Stewart. I do believe that Carolina is improved this year more than last year, but I think so is Arkansas. So I'm going to take the Hawgs at home to get back-to-back wins over Auburn and then South Carolina. Then in week 12, Arkansas goes to Texas. This is not just an Arkansas thing. I don't have Texas losing a game this fall. This game, I think, might be a little bit ugly. So I've got another loss here for Arkansas on the road at Texas. So at this point, I'm sitting 5-6 for Arkansas. So they go into week 13 with a home game against LSU to make a bowl. I have no idea what to do with this game because for me, it's very dependent on where LSU is at this point. Are they in playoff contention? Are they 9-2? Are they 10-1? Or are they where I think they might be? I'm lower on LSU. I'm not sure that they're in playoff reach at this point in the season. So if we have, an 8-3 LSU team, they're probably still going to be playing like they have a playoff shot, but based on how the rest of the country plays out, an 8 or 7-win LSU team at this point is probably not going to make the playoff. What does that do to their effort? Do they roll over and just kind of quit? And on the other side of that, Arkansas at 5-6 in Silverfield's first year, they'll be playing for a bowl game in this spot. This could be the ultimate, Arkansas gets to play this game, LSU has to play this game situation where the Hawgs just play harder than the entire way and win. Right now, I'm going to lean loss, but I'm like 51-49 on loss right now. Based on the situation, I will pick Arkansas so fast in this game based on the records, the vibes, just how that all's going, because the talent gap is pretty big, but I do believe that if we get to a spot where LSU is 8-3, maybe even 7-4 coming into this game, they're not going to put up that much of a fight. And if Arkansas is playing for a bowl game, I'm Arkansas all day. For right now, I'm going to lean loss literally by like 1%, but that could easily swap for me based on how the season plays out. So that's Arkansas' schedule. I have them going 5-7, which, sure, that's not a year that you write home about, but you only won 2 games last year. So Silverfield coming in and more than doubling your win total, sure, you still, could make a bowl game at 5-7 based on opt-outs and everything, but it's not horrible. It is objectively a step forward. It is a building block. And going through Arkansas's roster, I had those videos on my channel too. It's not a horrible roster. There's good young talent, especially at quarterback. So if you're able to, put together a proof of concept this year that you can win some games, if you beat a Tennessee, if you beat an Auburn, you can really use that as a launching point for the next few years and see, look, we're building a good program here. You can really get some good athletes, take them away from some other SEC programs. Silverfield and Arkansas could easily become a threat to, win 7 or 8 games in 2 years. And it starts with this season. Can you make some noise? Can you pull some upsets and really show a proof of concept of what you're doing? So I am excited to watch Arkansas this year. I don't believe they're going to set the world on fire, but they could easily hang in and win some pretty tough games. So Arkansas goes 5-7. It's nothing crazy, but I do believe it's something that in year 1, Hawgs fans should be like, all right, this makes sense. Let's go on 2027. Let's go win 7 or 8 games next year. So I do believe that Silverfield and Arkansas could be a good marriage, but we'll see how it all plays out. So that'll do it for this video. If you have been enjoying all this college football preview content and all this SEC preview stuff, subscribe to me here and follow me on Twitter. I'm doing this every single day until the season starts. Tomorrow, I'll have the full-length version of Auburn's schedule breakdown and how I think their 2026 season will play out. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Tailgate Talk SEC. I've been Will Thomas, and I will see you next time.